Fatal Affair. Seems like we've seen this type of movie 100 times before in the past, but that is okay as long as the movie is good. So is it? Let's talk about it. My name is Brandon Keith Avery, and this is just my opinion. Hey, what's going on, everyone? Thank you so much for tuning in to my opinion/review for Fatal Affair. I really do appreciate it. And if this is your first time finding me and you want more movie reviews from myself, me doing trailer reactions, responding to entertainment news, or just talking about anything I think is cool, please right now click on that subscribe button. And if you like the video, go ahead and give me that thumbs up because it helps me out a lot. Fatal Affair is one of the latest releases on Netflix right now. If you have a subscription, which I'm sure you do, you can go watch the movie as soon as you're done watching this review. I can't necessarily say that I was super duper excited about the film, but when I saw the trailer, I said to myself, oh yes, that has stars in it that I like. I'm going to make sure I see that movie. Now, this is directed and actually written by a gentleman by the name of Peter Sullivan. And I've never heard of him before I saw this film. But when I looked him up, he had about 33 directing credits on his filmography, mostly from TV movies and shorts. Nothing wrong with that. TV movies are great, but nothing big mainstream that most people would have heard of. And also a co-writer on this is Rashida Garner, who I've never heard of either. She's a sister. They've actually worked together before, and she also worked with Nia Long last year, November 2019, in a film called Bacon Christmas. I never heard about that film until right before I hit record on this video. So if you've seen or heard about that film, please let me know if it's good or not down in the comment section below. But like I said, this film has stars that I am a fan of, with Nia Long, The Best Man, The Best Man and The Banker. We got Omar Epps, who was in The Wood, that came out like 1998-99, one of my favorite movies, and also Love and Basketball, just old classic right there. And also Stephen Bishop. I know him from Being Mary Jane. He's a pretty cool actor. He's been good in some things and not so good in others. But, when I saw that he was a part of this project right here, I was like, okay, hey, Mr. Bishop, let's see what you got going on, sir. Let's see what you got going on. But anyway, before we get into anything, we got to see what this movie is about. Ellie, played by Nia Long, tries to mend her marriage with her husband, Marcus, Stephen Bishop, after a brief encounter with an old friend named David, played by Omar Epps, only to find that David is more dangerous and unstable than she realized. Now, as far as this movie is concerned and what I thought about it, in my opinion, I did not like this movie, unfortunately, and I really wanted to like it, but I just didn't. It's not a good movie, guys. It's just a bad movie, in my opinion. And there's really not much positive things that, I can say about it. And usually if a movie is bad, sometimes you can still just like let it go and be like, okay, this is not a good movie. They're not going for the Oscar or anything like that. Let me just have some fun. And I thought I was about to be able to do that at around the 20-minute mark. But that's just not the case. And also want to remind you guys, I will be talking about not major spoilers, but slight spoilers with this film. So if you don't want me to give away anything at all, just press pause, go watch the film. When you're done, come back and continue. And hey, there you're good. But it's not a good movie. It's not even that entertaining. But one good thing about it is there are a number of valuable lessons that can be learned. It may seem like common sense, but common sense is not common to all people. And so, we're going to get into that. Now, before I hit play watching this on Netflix, I did check out an interview from Miss Nia Long. She's a great talent, does amazing work in everything that she does. And she was probably the only one that did a good job as far as the acting is concerned in this movie. But talking about that, she said in the interview that, hey, I believe this is her first producer credit. It's like, hey, we're not going for the Oscar here. We just want to be able to tell this story. We have a target audience and we're going after it. And yes, it is clear as day that they're not going for the Oscar. Like the first few frames of this movie, when I heard Alana Doll, I kind of said to myself, oh, what do we have here? This seems like a B, C, D grade movie, but hey, you know, we can still have fun with it. But it's really just hard to do that when the acting across the board is just not good. And that's just so disappointing because all of these people can act. We've seen Nia Long act, we've seen Stephen Bishop act, we've seen Omar Epps act, and they've all done great jobs in the films that I listed previously, you know, in this video. So I can only say that that has to do with the director and him just not being able to bring the performance out of this talented cast that I know is there deep down inside, and it really just breaks my heart. And one of the things, you know, just about this movie, just going a little bit deeper as far as the plot, the synopsis is, you know, you have Ellie and Marcus and they're married. And one of the things that is tainting their marriage, in my opinion, or how I depicted it, is they got married too early. They met in college, got married right after that, and then their life started. They had a kid, and they really just never had a chance to grow and mature. Now, one of the reasons why this movie is bad, in my opinion, is because they did not tell you that in the film or show you. That's just kind of something that I put together myself. I could be wrong. You may interpret this thing completely different, you know, than I can. But I'm not married. I'm not a marriage counselor or a relationship expert, but all I hear from the elder people is that, hey man, when you're young, experience life, there's just a number of things that, you know, one person should do it as an individual before they get married. I think that's an important lesson. I think that's a lesson learned when you're watching this film. I'll be 36 on Sunday, so if you're much older than me and been in a long relationship, go ahead and put your 2 cents in the comments. I really will appreciate that. Another thing that really just bugged me in this movie is, and we're talking about marriage too, is next month in August, my mom and my dad, they're still married. They'll be married for 40 years. Ugh! I'm really proud of them, and I'm going to get to my point. And both of them have told me, Brandon, communication is so important. If you do not communicate, you know, it's not going to work. It's not going to, things are going to fail and they're going to fall apart. That one of the things I just did not like about this movie is there was no communication at all between the characters, and it just drove me up a wall. There was no communication between Ellie and Marcus. There was not much communication between Ellie and her friend, and them breaking all types of girl code. And I'm a male, and I know everybody has a code. Males have your male code, women have your women code, and all that good stuff. And just the lack of communication with just common sense of Nia letting the authorities know, the police department, like, hey, this is the situation that I'm in. I need help. And that just puts another layer on top of the bad communication, is characters making stupid decisions. But, you know, I'll get on that. I'm a big person, you know, when it comes to communication, and there just was no communication all through this movie. And like I said, it drove me crazy. But giving a little bit more detail between Marcus and David, I mean, when they don't feel like they have a marriage, it just seems like they're in it just to be in it because they're bored and, you know, don't want to have to go home on Christmas and say that they're single or something like that. There is no chemistry whatsoever between them. When David is talking to his wife Ellie, Nia Long, it doesn't even seem like he's talking to her. It just seems like he's talking at her, or, you know, or just is trying to kill dead silence. So I'm just like, okay, what's going on here? I don't feel any romance, any passion between these two people. You know, this is just not a good match. You know, I really just don't understand, you know, what's going on here. And when I say, I mean, and even between them, everything just seems so fake and artificial. Like, I mean, I just want to be able to relate to a realistic conversation, some dialogue that makes sense to me, you know. But when they're in the office and they're just saying like, hey babe, you want what was it, you want steak or fish? I'll take the steak. Haha, steak coming up. I'm like, come on, man, don't nobody talk to nobody like that, you know. I mean, especially if you're married, you know, babe, you take the fish out the freezer. I'm just saying, you know what I'm talking about or whatever. And like, it just, everything about their relationship just seems completely just paper thin. And it's just nothing that I can get behind. And, you know, on top of everything being boring. And I talked about girl code a second ago too. It's just like, come on. I mean, like, seriously, No woman is going to let another man come between two girlfriends unless there is some type of evidence or a dialogue between the two, like the two women have a conversation. I don't want to spoil anything here. I know I said slight spoilers, but this is just more silly dialogue that I can't subscribe to. You know, I'm not going with it, and it just seems ridiculous, fake, and unreal in all shapes and all forms. So I mean, I've talked about their marriage, but just Marcus in general, man, the dude was just too chill, man, and lazy, lazy-daisical. I mean, he just really did not seem like he wanted to be there at all in any scene. It just, you know, it was really disappointing because I really was rooting for him. But let's just move over to Omar Epps, you know, my brother, you know what I'm saying? I liked him in Traffic. Like I said, I liked him in Love and Basketball, In the Wood. But I mean, my goodness gracious, bro, the acting just was not there in this film. Everything was just over exaggerated. And just like I've said this word 1,000 times, just not realistic. Not realistic acting, mannerisms, dialogue, just nothing, just overboard. And it's just another, I mean, I know he's the character that we're not supposed to root for anyway. But I mean, man, if you're the villain, can I at least please get a good villain? And, you know, I couldn't even get that for his character. And just, I mean, Nia Long's character, Ellie, I mean, she was fine. I mean, the actor was fine, except for kind of a couple of scenes towards the end. You know, she was the one that was just giving them more passion, more juice than, you know, anyone else. You know, you can debate if she's the best actress in this movie, you know, out of the whole cast, but I just really wasn't a fan of her character either. I mean, just not putting her foot down at the very beginning. I mean, she should have never been in this situation. You know, I mean, whether she's happy in her marriage or not, there's just a lack of communication, and she's leading it. I'm not gonna, no, she wasn't leading David on, but you know, I mean, she was flirting and, you know, trying to find a husband at work, and that's always a horrible idea in my opinion. And some of y'all may know what I'm talking about, but it's just like, you know, you have a boring movie, unrealistic dialogue, and all the other stuff that I've complained about, and then just characters that, you know, you can't root for. I mean, it's you know, you're waiting for this to be over, and that's just bad because, I mean, the movie is only an hour and 30 minutes, just 90 minutes long. And you know, my attention span was all over, well, I don't want to say it was all over the place, but I just wasn't like laser focused in. But, you know, we have David Omar Epps, you know, he's the crazy man, cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, and he's seeing the therapist. But, you know, I don't even, and correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but I don't even think they fully explain what happened to him, what sent him over the edge. I mean, they mentioned it, but didn't follow through with it. So, I mean, that's kind of like a little gaping hole there that just kept widening and widening, you know, as the film progressed. However, while I did complain about the communication and the lack of the relationship or marriage between Marcus and Ellie, at the 1 hour and 7 minute mark, that is the best scene of the movie, when there was a confrontation in between the two. That's when Steven stepped up, you know, a great male, just, you know, strong figure, and he actually emoted. He actually put some passion in his performance, and I felt it. I was like, hey, bro, if I was in your shoes, I would be reacting the same way, even harder. You know what I'm saying? And I respected his character at that moment. I'm just like, hey, man, if we could have got some stuff like this throughout the whole movie, we may have had a gem on us. But no, so I don't know what happened. Maybe they shot that scene the first, you know, in production or whatever, and everybody lost their mojo, you know, after that. But I don't know. But at the 1 hour and 7 minute mark, you know, you'll know what I'm talking about. Things just got a lot better from there. But other than that, guys, the film fell apart right after that. The ending was anticlimactic. Again, you know, people are doing stupid mistakes in the classic stereotypical horror movie, to where, you know, if there's a sign like, hey, here's danger, here's safety, you know, they're going to go on the side of danger. You know, no, that literally didn't happen, but I think you understand the point I'm just trying to make. But dumb choices by characters, unrealistic dialogue, no communication, you know, over exaggerated acting. It's just not a good film. I didn't enjoy it. It's you know, I could go on, but I think you get my point. I don't even know if I want to rate this thing out of a 1 out of 10, but if I were to rate Fatal Affair out of 1 out of 10, I'd give it like a 4 out of 10, something like that. It just wasn't good. But, you know, hey, guys, you may like it. And honestly, you know, that is just my opinion. So thank you guys for tuning in. If you liked the video, please go ahead and give me that thumbs up. Also, please subscribe to the channel. And guys, you can also look me up on social media. It's right there at the bottom of your screen. But guys, again, I just want to thank you so much for tuning in. And before you go, don't forget to always chase your dreams, because I'm chasing mine. My name is Brandon Keith Avery, and that's just my opinion. Peace.